Huh? Yeah, I've been walking.
I saw you driving the other day. You flipped me off, man.
Hey, it's the car. I can't tell who's driving the cars now.
Yeah.
I can't see who's driving the cars.
Yeah.
Some of your little co-workers likes to start some more shit.
It's like that, man. I mean, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but like.
Well, you got Bennett.
All right, yeah. What about it?
He's charged me and my son being co-defendants, and we wasn't even together.
Oh.
So, if I don't see who you are, I can't tell who's who. So.
Yeah, no, I ain't mad about it. I was just like, I was waving at you too. I was like, oh, there's poor child. Because I mean, obviously, I know that like you fucking hate most of us around here. So
I don't hate nobody like that. What I want is accountability, and I want y'all's rules. First thing y'all's rules is you gotta follow the law yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't. And you have Bennett that went above and beyond anything he was supposed to do. Had me charged with being a co-defendant, and I wasn't even at the scene. I was videotaping.
Which one? You're talking about over here?
Yeah, with the car deal. He went to court, went in front of the grand jury and told him that I started a bunch of stuff and I was screaming and cussing, which I was, telling my son to shut the fuck up. You don't have to talk to him.
Yeah.
And he had me as a co-defendant, and I was with my son. And clearly, on my video, you can clearly see he had them two already out of the car talking to him when I walked up. So how are you going to be a co-defendant, be with the person when you're not even on the scene? You just walk up.
I know cars on, but.
Oh, now a lot of them do that around here, trying to run that red light.
Oh, is it red now?
No, it was green. I don't know, but you know.
Yeah, I saw somebody walking on train tracks. I was like, I didn't know who it was, and I was like, and I realized you were videoing. What's up, man?
Oh well, I was just being quiet. I wasn't gonna do nothing.
I don't care.
I just thought about you today too. When I was walking to work, I was like, I bet he thinks that I'm mad at him if I flip him off, but I just see the car. I can't tell who's driving.
I know the routine. I mean, I ain't sweating. I thought it was funny. I was like, because here's the thing, dude. Like, I do not care. Like if you're anybody's opinion, not specifically.
Right.
I don't care like what your opinion is. I at least want to be able to have like a reasonable platform that we can communicate on and not be, you know, because like. If you got somebody that's like a dick, like an officer that's a dick, right? And they come up, and then you got you telling your son to shut the fuck up because you know that's your right as an American. You can do that. You tell him to shut the fuck up, and that's his right to remain silent. Everybody has that, right? Like that's some officers see that as like a kind of a threat, I guess. Like a kind of a dick move because I don't know why. I kind of understand it, but I really don't know why. It's just like damn, like. Can't do our job if we're going to remain silent. But it's like I get it. I just want to be able to like talk to them.
Well, and here I understand when you say we got a job to do. I understand you have a job to do, but as citizens, as a police officer, you ought to know not just you. A police officer should know the citizens have rights, and they should know that them rights says we don't have to answer questions.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't push the point and lie to people to get truths or anything else. Because it has been proven, the Supreme Court has given police officers the permission to lie to get what they want. And they have put people in prison on that. People have been exonerated for that. And people have been in trouble for stupid stuff on lies. And nothing happens to the police officer, nothing. There's no accountability.
Okay, so I don't understand. Like, so I know what you're talking about. Like, I know that we're allowed to use half-truths and trickery and lies whenever we're, you know, interrogating, questioning, whatever. But I mean, you know, I'm just gonna have to respectfully disagree. You know, like I don't understand like how that's holding us accountable whenever we're not investigating.
If a man,
we're not being investigated for a crime, they are. You know,
if a man is investigated for committing murder. And he does not confess.
Right.
And a police officer puts him in prison and he stays in prison for 30 years for a murder he did not commit, and then find out, oh, he didn't commit it, he wasn't even there, and they know that the police officer lied on the paperwork, they know he lied in interrogation.
That, like, as far as like officers actually lying on
to
a
get
sworn
it
affidavit.
correct, to get anything. There was a case in Texas recently, last year, the year before last, two people were murdered in their house by cops. Their dog was murdered in their house by cops, all because a police officer lied to a grand jury and had confidential informants lie to the grand jury as well and say that they bought drugs off these people. These people weren't even drug dealers, and it was the wrong address they was at. And you know what happened to the cops? Don't do it next time. They're still going through court trying to prosecute the cops for committing these murders on a lie.
I'm like going back to, like, I don't think I understand your question. So I know that we're allowed to, like, whenever, let's say we sit you down in a room and somebody
I got an example. I got a great example. Agent Proctor just come in my work 2 weeks ago. Stood at my counter and ordered food. I seen him.
Yeah.
I looked at the guy, he come around the corner, he said, cops at the counter. I looked around the counter, I said, oh, that's DTF. Wasn't worried about it, didn't want to talk to him. Finished my job. He left my job, called and wrote in a survey and told my boss I chased him outside and brought the whole crew outside and was laughing at him. And I called him dirty names and I cussed at him. You know what? It's all on video. I never done that. And he called my boss and put my job in jeopardy because he doesn't like who I am. He told my boss he don't even know who I am, but he told my boss my nickname. He knows me by Pork Chop. And everybody in Dickson County knows Pork Chop. So you say Pork Chop, you got to know me. He's like, I've never arrested him before. I don't know why he hates cops. I don't hate cops. I want y'all to be accountable for the actions that y'all cause. Or if you break the law, you should be accountable for the law that you break.
Yeah.
He almost cost me my job on a lie.
Okay. But that's not a criminal matter. I'm talking about, you know, as far as, like, and I understand what you're saying. I'm not taking away from your opinion.
Oh, I got you.
But I'm saying, like, as far as, you know, criminal investigation goes, let's say that somebody accuses you of stealing felony theft amount from Walmart. They call you in, and let's say you had somebody that was with you, and they say, look, man, your buddy that was with you done rolled on you. Like, that's a lie, but he didn't roll on you. Like, he kept his mouth shut, he didn't say anything, and you're like, all right, man, I did it. Like, that's what I understand as being like a half-truth or a lie, that the Supreme Court said, hey, you can do that in order to get a confession.
No,
now, like, a lie, as far as like going on affidavit and saying Pork Chop said that he stole from Walmart, but you really didn't. That's called perjury, if I'm not mistaken.
And they commit that all the time. They do it all the time, and it's nothing's accounted for. For an example, there was just recently, I read in one of my things I read, there was a family, a husband and wife, or boyfriend and girlfriend, that adopted their niece or nephew was being abused. They went and picked them up. Doctors had all this on paperwork. The girl died. And instead of the cops going in and investigating and doing all that and get all the paperwork, they just put the people in prison and said they raped her and they murdered her. 30 years later, they proved their innocence and they said they proved they didn't do it. They let him out of jail. Now, the problem for the man, he died of cancer in prison. The woman is still trying to get her life back and her name back and cleared, and the cop is sitting fat, eating on his retirement, laughing about everything. Because he lied and had somebody put in prison that they know was innocent. A medical examiner proved that it was innocent, and they still put him in prison.
Yeah.
And nothing's done to the police officers. And it's not just with that, it's about everything. I mean, you're not allowed to speed unless you're going to a call. And if you're going to a call, you're supposed to have your light. Now, that's what I've read in policies. Now, I do understand sometimes y'all are back up and you got to go there and you don't have to use lights. But I know when you're in pursuit, you're supposed to have lights on and your sirens. Well, a lot of cops don't do that. I was pulled over a couple years ago the same way. He got right behind me, run 2 red lights, and was doing at least 60 miles an hour to catch up. He should have been written a ticket, and he should have had to pay for it just like I did. But it don't happen that way. You're given permission to do that.
No, we're not giving permission.
Okay, then why did they do that? And if we complain, 9 out of 10 of the complaints are just laughed at and thrown in the trash.
I feel like there's a lot of miscommunication in the public. Because here's the deal. I feel like this is the way it's handled a lot of times, and the public doesn't see it either. Because, like, you know, like, there's the, I forget what it's called. It's like essentially where, like, you know, police officers have each other's back, whatever. I forget what that's called.
The blue line.
Well, yeah, but, like, there's a word for it as far as, like, I was watching a show the other day. I can't remember what it was, but they use a good term for it. But, anyway, so, like, if there's a complaint, you know, and like there's some legitimacy to it. Like, let's say I'm dealing with you, or I'm dealing with somebody I pulled over and I cuss them out, like, and I say something that's, you know, I don't say like I hope you fucking die or anything like that, but I say, hey.
He says fuck you, you say fuck you back. I got you.
Yeah. So, and they'll be like, hey, look, like, don't do that shit. Like, just don't do it. Like, you don't see that. Like, I feel like a lot of people want the satisfaction of us being fired or terminated for something that doesn't necessarily call for that. So I feel like a lot of people, and you may have a different opinion, you have a lot more interactions than most public, no offense, but so like most people are like, well, I want you fired and everything like that because they want that satisfaction. They want to ruin their day and their career and everything else, but in the grand scheme of things, like me saying fuck you may be against the law, or maybe against our policy as far as like public relations goes, but at the end of the day, is it really like a matter that we need to push as a department to, you know, to fire this guy for something like that?
And I see your point, I really do. But look at it from some of our point of views. If you go on and look at North NC Tyrant Hunter, I guess he's out of North Carolina. There's a lot of times where he just pulls up and he's sitting on the side of the road where he's allowed to sit, and these cops come up and start dumb shit. They say things to him.
There's some cringy ones on there, man, because I like kind of like the ones around here. I can't think of the name of it, but it's on YouTube, where they went to PD and like talked to Chief Lewis and everything like that. Like, and then you got like some departments that don't have any idea how, like, you know, they can go in the lobby and like certain areas they can't go to. And then like some officers, like I saw one the other day where the sergeant came up and was like, look, man, like you can't arrest him for that. I think he had him in cuffs. Yeah, he had him in cuffs. And he was like, look, man, you can't do that. And I'm like, yeah. So like those right there, like I'm like that's kind of a fail. Like that makes us look bad. And I hate those videos. I mean, it's a good thing, like, because I watch those and I learn things from them. But it also like sucks because like as a person and like, you know, having them as like essentially my brother or sister or whatever, it makes us look bad because, you know, like let's say you're here and you don't like us, and then you go somewhere else and like you don't like them because of what we did. So like that's the shit I hate.
And I try not to. And when I started doing this, I started watching you. I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing before I done it. I really did. Y'all are a lot different than other places are because y'all don't bother me videoing. Now, we do have certain ones, like some of the DTFs like to yell, oh, why don't you stop, blah, blah, blah. They even have passengers of cars tell me, oh, they're good cops, but they pulled you over. You're telling me they're good, but they wrote you a ticket. I had to learn. But y'all are a lot different and not as bad as some other places. Some other places, they arrest people for cussing.
Yeah, that's like I was trying to tell somebody the other day. We have freedom of speech, but then there's like unprotected freedom of speech.
Okay, the unprotected freedom of speech, people will have an argument about it. It's threats.
Yeah.
Now, when somebody says the word fuck you could be used as an intimidation threat, but the word fuck, if you look at the definition, is not meaning anything with the word fighting.
You're right, it doesn't.
But the underlying hidden agenda with freedom of speech is you can't threaten nobody. You can't, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to beat your ass, or I'm going to get somebody to come hunt you down. You can't threaten nobody and make intimidation and bully tactics.
True. And like that's what it was. It's like, so I was sitting down the road A guy goes by on a motorcycle, and like I see him go by in the car in front of him, brake checking the fuck out of him,
Right.
And the dude on the motorcycle is I don't remember what he did. Like I saw the brake checking going on, and then I don't think he did anything at that point. So I pull out because I was like, nah, I ain't gonna let nobody just brake check a motorcycle. Like that's gonna get somebody killed. So I pull out. The motorcycle pulls in with this car. Rightfully so, the dude on the motorcycle's mad. I get it, totally cool with it. But he gets off his motorcycle and like is trying to go to this dude's window, and like I already know what's up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, man, just sit down. He's like telling me, he's like, I have a freedom of speech, and I'm like, you do, but disorderly conduct includes anything threatening or violent behavior.
Yeah,
so
right.
Like, you have a right to freedom of speech, but whenever you start walking over to his car, that's kind of threatening.
And they could,
and I told the other dude too. I wasn't just getting on to him.
right.
I was like, look, man, you need to quit brake checking. Like that's gonna get somebody killed, or you never know who you're gonna run across. They might end up smoking your ass. Like you just don't know.
I understand that, and I'm glad. And that would be considered disorderly conduct because he got out. But a lot of you, and you got a lot of cops that they use the disorderly conduct to arrest somebody, but they're not violating any of the statutes under that law.
Yeah, because there's a couple. I don't know.
There's one that I know. There's one for rioting. You can't start a riot. There's one where you can't do a protest. And the third one is like fighting or starting violence and then starting a commotion. I know there's 3.
A person commits offense who is in a public place and with intent to cause public annoyance or alarm.
Yeah.
Engages in fighting or in violent or threatening behavior. Refuses to obey official disorder or fuck, I can't even talk. Refuses to obey an official order to disperse issued to maintain public safety. That's like that right thing.
Yeah.
Well,
the first one should be like if you're drunk.
None of these have anything about being drunk. Public intox is kind of a... dude, I'll be honest with you, I've worked traffic for the past year and a half, so I don't even know a lot of these wrong anymore.
And then there's another one, I just had it in my head I was going to say.
A person commits the offense of public intoxication who appears in a public place under the influence of control to blah, blah, blah. The offender may be endangered. There is endangerment to the other person or property. The offender unreasonably annoys people on the vicinity. That one would be kind of true. I mean, sort of, if you got somebody calls in and say, hey, look, they're annoying the fuck out of me.
Well, I had a guy, I went to a gas station one time. He wouldn't sell my wife cigarettes. My wife had went in there certain times to the same guy. Wouldn't sell her cigarettes because she didn't have her ID that night. I was mad. She come woke me up. I go to the store. He runs out and tell the police I was being belligerent. Now, if the definition of belligerent would be under the drunk definition, but the cop, he knew exactly who I was. He looked at me and said, what are you doing? I said, I asked him why he wouldn't sell my wife cigarettes. She's done it every night, all week. I said he had a problem because she didn't have her ID tonight. She's never showed her ID before. And he said, just go home. People calling in the line on that stuff.
Well, you also, like, you specifically, and I don't mean this by any stretch, like, any mean, no harm, nothing. But, like, if they watch your YouTube videos for any period of time, like, they're going to see you getting sideways. And then, like, the police, somebody that's a rookie or whatever, might show up. And they're going to be like, that sounds just like something he'd fucking do. And then your ass is going to be...
Well, they pulled...
Or whatever.
The night they pulled my son and his friend over here, I had to get on a woman. She really pissed me off. She pulled him over. She wouldn't let him move the car because he didn't have no driver's license. So they called me and my wife. We come up here. Not one of them 3 officers checked my wife's ID at all. The male officer just told her to get in the car and drive off. Now, the woman cop, I told her, I said, well, you said you smelled marijuana. You asked him if you could search his car. He said no. Then you said you smelled marijuana. He still has the right to tell you no. At that time, you, as an officer, has the right to call the dog in.
If we smell marijuana, it's probable cause though.
Not all the time. Because if his windows are open and he's outside, come on now. If you drive up to somebody with their windows down and you walk up, you're outside and smell marijuana, come on. Come on.
I mean, that'd be a good argument. That'd be a good argument. But I'd still say that they'd have probable cause. Like if I walk up to the car and I smell alcohol coming from the car, like to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't think we have to have probable cause. There's another term for it. I don't know. That's a different story. But It's just like marijuana or alcohol. Like if we smell it coming from the car, I'm going to get the driver out and check their eyes.
Okay, we'll go with alcohol. You get me out of the car, I can refuse to take your test. I can refuse to take the breathalyzer test. At that time, you have a choice. You can take me to the hospital, force me to take a blood test, or take me to jail. Now, there has been people, mostly men, put in jail and stayed in jail and charged with drunk because they refused to take a test, and then they take the blood test and it proves they're innocent. Nothing's done with the cop. The guy was innocent the whole time, and the cop got mad because he refused the test, so he puts him in jail. Now, what?
Like, I'll give you an example. I had a dude, and I've had several incidents where I've had a dude admit to me in this parking lot that he had taken I think it was Xanax or something like that, and he came back goose-egged across the board, which is strange because... Like,
he done what across the board?
Nothing. Like
Negative, yeah.
But like obviously it's case-by-case basis. Like if I smell alcohol and you refuse, like you have the right to refuse, but if I let you drive from there
and you cause an accident, I understand. I do. I really do. My grandfather was killed by a drunk driver. I understand.
So we'd be liable at that point. So
in base-by-base cases, we just look for accountability. That's all we look for, really. And people, now there are some people that get out here and do this that are assholes.
Yeah.
But we just look for accountability. You have a job. This is mainly what I look at, and it sucks because a lot of officers don't look at it like this. This is a job. You can quit this job and go find a job everywhere else. And a lot of them don't look at it like that. They look at it like it's their life, their livelihood, and it's just it. That's all. Now, like I said, some of us people out here are stupid and get out here and cause problems, and I've seen them where they're just rude and disrespectful, and I don't like the video. But
look, I'm gonna roll on that.
Okay. All right, man, it's good talk. And look, if it's you, I apologize ahead.
152, man.
152. All right, I'll try to remember that.
Jeep the other day, I was like, dang, man.
It's just a car, man. I understand. All right, see you.